I was going to switch to eyeshadows, but there are still these Bobbi Brown palettes. And of course, this is not the right one. Here you have it. So both of them, these are from the last holiday collection, the two face palettes. And I also have another palette from Bobbi Brown. Now, this was released in fall, I think. It was difficult to get. And to me, it was a fail. In the sense that I like only these two. These two are nice, but my plan is actually to depot these. These are nice, but they're quite similar to each other. This is more pinkish, and this is the classic Moonstone Baked Gelée eyeshadow from Bobbi Brown. These two are very nice, but these two were a fail. There was Lexi Young that compared these two eyeshadows, and they are identical. But the point is that for some reason, this was easier to pick up compared to this one. It may be the shape, the fact that it's bigger. It may be that. So you may find this on Vinted in the future. It takes space, and I don't have that space in my drawer. Well, these two were a surprise, and especially the one that I didn't expect. This is the darker version, and this is another face palette, this lighter version. This one, the darker one, is my favorite because with this type of baked gelée formula, you don't have full pigmentation, so the colors come already sheer. This is a nice berry on my cheeks. I don't like to have that type of color on my skin, but I have to say, sheer version like this, the formula is so perfecting that I can accept that. It gives me more, grown up look, while this is more fresh and younger looking. But these are two, this is orange and this I never use it. So the only pan that I truly like is this one. That seems, let me compare it to the Chanel one. This was Chanel and this Gucci. Let me compare this pink. It may be similar, and yeah, it seems similar, but is less shimmery than the Chanel. You see how much shimmer there's in Chanel. So this is perfect, and in ideal world, I could, declutter the Chanel and keep this one. These are great, but even if you are fair, like I have, this is a great choice because this tone of bronzer is great. So yeah, I should have actually included this in one of my favorite. So this was a surprise and a great purchase. This, I could have skipped this palette. Another face product, I purchased this. So this is a K-beauty brand, Dasique, but it's too light and it doesn't translate lavender. So this will be decluttered. In the future, we will find on Vinted. Now, finally, we are ready to discuss eyeshadows, my most favorite makeup item. I can see myself reviewing also the eyeshadow purchases this year. Okay, I was good until spring. In spring, I started purchasing a lot. I remember that in spring I purchased these ones that were not new, so were old quads, so Rose Topaz from Tom Ford, and also the Violet Satin that I don't know where it is. They are a regret, in the sense that this is amazing in terms of color story, but it developed art pan. I talked extensively about these eyeshadows already. During my classification, where I classify the formulas, I could have skipped them. It would be nice to see how much I would have saved if I had the knowledge that I have now. I purchased this one that was inspired by Mariam, that is actually a Star Wars palette by Pat McGrath. These are nice, but this, to be honest, I never use these colors, so okay. And now I also put my finger on the purple, okay. So apparently I watched it. But anyway, I like this. This was a surprise for me because I like the blue a lot. I like these colors, they're more neutral. But this I could have avoided, to be honest. This was the year where I got to know this formula. Is not my favorite. My favorite is in this video. So I think I'm good without purchasing more of these. I have the colors that I need. These together with the last year's Bronze Bliss Quad, it's fine. This can be a complete collection for me. I don't need every color because it's not my favorite formula. Suqqu is always a purchase. Throughout the years, I almost purchased all the, this is a spring purchase, almost all the quads. And sometimes I have regrets in the sense that this, for example, I had skipped it and then I have to find it and pay more for it. It's always the case with Suqqu, so sometimes I just buy to avoid those kind of regrets and to avoid overpaying later on. I will do a project with Suqqu in the future. I hope to be able to film it. I will depot it, create my own palettes, because Suqqu is one of my favorite brands, and I truly believe that having these colors as singles will allow me to recreate color combo and to avoid to buy new palettes. Because at this point, I have so many colors. I have all the colors possible and still am buying eyeshadows, you know. But it's difficult now to impress me. The latest Suqqu collection didn't arrive to Cult Beauty. There's only the 130 palette and I purchased it. It's on its way to me. So I didn't purchase Suqqu latest palettes also because it didn't arrive to Cult Beauty and I'm tired to pay extras, pay taxes to import them from UK. So I will stick to what I have from Suqqu, also because there's a degree of repetition. Another note that I would like to observe about Suqqu is that I don't know if it is a permanent trend or if it is something related to just these holiday collections, but they are becoming quite glittery, especially the latest collections, the holiday collections and winter collections are quite glittery. And spring was actually a very spendy time of the year. I had this compelling necessity to buy Dior. There were rumors they were reformulating the eyeshadows, so I picked 4 eyeshadows that I wanted to have in my collection. For sure this was actually a must buy, that is the iconic soft cashmere. But my favorite turned out to be Nude Dress, because it's lighter and it has this taupe that is quite nice. And I also like this dark camel color, very nice. So this I appreciated a lot for daytime looks. And then I purchased Grand Ball, and I also purchased Poncho that I decluttered because it was quite redundant. These were quite unique color combos. This also is unique. This central color is transformative when layered with the other metallic shades. So very nice. The formula is peculiar and soft and rich, velvety. So I didn't want to miss them. And another purchase that was compelling again was the Guerlain. These are 2 examples, but I purchased almost all the quads in the permanent line, and the reason is that this Baked Gelée formula was starting from fall 2023 was discontinued. I mean, they changed the formula, switched to standard powders, so I had to pick these Baked Gelée quads. And I picked also this one. That was the last limited edition, I believe. Yes, this was for the summer collection, so it was released in spring, and was the last one that was Baked Gelée. And I'm happy because these are quite unique colors. I even layer these 2 because this unfortunately turns orange. It has this disadvantage of all these Baked Gelée formulas that the colors tend to turn warm. And so I layer the blue so that I can neutralize the orange in this brown. Very nice quad. So these were not new. Okay, with the exception of this one, but I mean, these purchases were not new, were pre-existent things that I purchased in 2023. Then I wanted to add this one, and the reason is the packaging. This was the new series Connecting Color. They said that they added pigmentation in their eyeshadows. I don't care for me, the pigmentation of the old school MAC was okay for the mattes. The shimmers, I think they are old school, they are lackluster, and it's true also for these ones, but still I like this because of the colors. I love this color here. It doesn't seem anything special, but it's a nice satin. It gives a glossy look on the eyes. What is the color of this? Retrospec. This is great. I feel it's drier though. It's a satin, but it has a certain degree of shine. It's very elegant on the skin. This I don't care, it's too warm, and this is the other color. So I may keep just these two. This is great because it's, you know, the taupe olivey color that is my style. And then this maybe, but this is already too orange. This is too warm for me. So these two are the only two colors that I would keep from this palette. I bought it for the plastic. Yeah, that is the truth. But these two shades are very nice, but dupable, right? Still, this I think gives something unique. I mean, I'm not ready to get rid of it. Then also in the spring, I purchased this one by Florasis. Yeah, those fun palettes are nice. These have a specific formula. I don't want to say common, but I can find this formula from different brands that are made in China. Is what I called waxy gelée, because if you press, it's a squishy formula. So it's more like a super shock shadow rather than a truly baked gelée. So I don't understand why there are a lot of influencers that still say that this is baked gelée. It's not. It's waxy gelée. It has a waxy kind of texture. It's like coloring your skin with crayons. That is the experience. While baked gelée are hard. The true baked gelée formula, the hard one, not the waxy one, that one is made in Italy, while this one is Chinese. And I like that. It's subtle and elegant, it's refined on the skin. So I like it a lot. Although this palette has an autumn color palette, it tends to be warm here. It has some coolness here and here. So it has more coolness than usual. It's a keeper in my collection. Sometimes the matte requires more blending. It's the same experience I have with the cream to powder formula, and the reason why I prefer more lightweight powderiness, because then I can use squirrel brushes. Then I purchased also some pigments by Karla Cosmetics. I don't know what to do with these. These are very impactful, and these are 30 euros each. So they're very expensive. I think I will sell half price on Vinted because I never use them. And that was something that I should have expected. Why I purchased these? Because of my obsession with a picture on Instagram, and I made a video about it because then I try to replicate that effect, and I think loose pigments are still superior, but they are unpractical. But still, if you have time and you have a proper location, for example a vanity, you have the time to play a bit with it, the result is superior compared to pressed powder, but still they are loose. And so with all the disadvantages, they require more time, you have to clean, they are messy as usual. And still I want to buy a few more brownish ones, because I think that for certain occasions, New Year's Eve parties, these make the difference. PRADA. This is still on sale. The problem is that Vinted recognizes it is lightly used and removes this from the listing. So I think I will open a sale on Instagram because I want to sell it, because I never use it. This is again a cream to powder formula. I don't get along with it. I purchased another color story number 3 Pulse. It's the same thing. My conclusion is that I don't get along with PRADA eyeshadows. These mattes are nice, but these are bright colors I never use. Even if they are sheared out, I don't like the effect. These are quite common of color. if you have a basic collection or you really go through a lot of eyeshadow, then they make sense because the finish is impeccable. These are nice, but this is too metallic for me, and unfortunately that was the reason why I purchased this. And I have the same problem with the other color story. This type of formula, the metallic one, is too metallic. It tends to emphasize many textures, so I personally don't like that effect. Yves Saint Laurent. Now, I recently put these on Vinted, although this can be one of my favorite formula. And the reason is, this is Stora Dolls. It's dupeable with my Suqqu. That is the only reason. And this is too glittery for this shade is too glittery for my taste. So this was too glittery for me. And the other ones I have in my Suqqu eyeshadows. So it's redundant. That is the truth. But if you don't have a lot of Suqqu, if you want to try this slurry formula, it is almost cream to powder, more on the powder side. It's closer to the slurry formula that is Japanese, then this is the way to go. This is one of the most sophisticated color stories. The other one that I like a lot is 400, I think, the purple one. But the beautiful purchase is one of the best purchases if I didn't have the Suqqu ones. So there's the only problem. Then Clé de Peau. So I have this one that is sealed. You see, I purchased 2 Clé de Peau refills. It's nice, it's blurring, etc. But I prefer the Suqqu ones because they are drier. The powder is drier, and for me is more blurring compared to these ones. And they are very close. Suqqu are cheaper, so they are better value. You don't have to deal with the refill thing. I prefer Suqqu. So I still haven't opened this. This is the green quad. They feel redundant in the sense that I have my Suqqu. That is actually the application of the Bobbi mindset. I have the best in class, best of the best for me. And these, I think, the Suqqu ones are the best on the market. They check all the marks. The only problem is that they are limited editions, and if I want a specific color, sometimes it's not available. For example, grays. It's difficult to find matte grays in Suqqu. So some colors are missing because they usually aim to Asian market. I like the fact that we still have some differences in the makeup application, and I much prefer the Asian ones. The only problem is that sometimes they tend to indulge a lot with orange colors, pink colors. Sometimes they lean too warm for me. Speaking of Asian makeup that I'm attracted to, I wish I was born, I don't know, in an Eastern country because they reflect more my style. So I purchased these 2. These were part of a K-beauty haul. Now, as of these, too much pink. I like more pastel pinks. These were a bit muted. But I mainly purchased this palette for these ones, and to be honest, again, I have my Suqqu, so I think that this is a bit redundant. Formula is sheer, comparable in terms of sheerness. Of course, Suqqu looks and feels higher quality and higher end. This is more, I don't want to say drugstore, but is more... it's more powdery in the bad sense, in the sense that sometimes I don't see pigment, and I wish there was a little bit more pigment, and sometimes it shears too much. But it's a matter of taste, and sometimes it can be fine, but I wish it was a little bit more pigmented. And this is even more pigmented than this, but this I find it more unique because it has more pastel shades and more grays, you see. More neutral grays. The brand is Wakemake, and they had in the past these 12 pen, and they switched to 16 pens, but the color are redundant. So I think that there's more variety here rather than here. And between the 2, I like these ones. I like this the most. So I think I will keep this, maybe. Other K-beauty pink palettes are coming, just saying. This color story is quite unique. I don't think you can find easily this type of color story, so light and soft in Western brands. Out of the two, I like this. This is an iconic palette for a reason. Viseart. These are recent purchases. I haven't purchased Viseart in a while. I like those Pro palette, the original Pro palette, all matte, all shimmers, more than these. And specifically, I like the all matte palettes. These ones, I could have done without them, to be honest. I kind of regret to have purchased these because come on, I have so many eyeshadows that I love and I felt overwhelmed. Then I want to focus on the indie brands. I purchased a few palettes from indie brands. So I have tried quite a lot. Now, this is a regret, is the famous Glaminatrix palette, and you have alls because a few eyeshadows arrived broken, and the purple ones I would like to sell them. This is not original because the original one arrived broken. I think I purchased it 1.5 years ago and still I haven't tried yet. Now you have to consider this thing when it comes to indie brands. The truth is they are quite expensive to import in Europe. In Europe we have to pay a lot of taxes to import things from outside Europe. So Glaminatrix, I haven't tried yet to have an opinion about the formula. The only thing is that it's quite expensive to import it from Australia, and I know that I should not think about it, but this affects also my feelings about it, and I didn't want to try because I was pissed off that they arrived broken, and I got refunded for the shades that were broken. But it was, of course, you are refunded for the true amount that you pay for the product, but I pay so much taxes on top that is too much. That's my feelings as customer are these, unfortunately. And yeah, but the quality seems high, and these are quite unique shades. I like how they studied the color story, although there are shades missing here, but I think I'm done with Glaminatrix. I purchased a lot of Blend Bunny and also Adept. So Adept, I purchased another palette, the Eder Austin palette. So there are palettes like the Mika palette where the shades are thicker and so more impactful, but also more texturizing on the skin, and it's not my type. And I like how subtle are these, but are also considered too subtle. So I'm curious to know how the Eder Austin palette will compare. I have positive feelings about these, but again, this was very expensive. This is available also on Monolith, German-based shop that has indie brands, American and also Australian. I think it has also, it has also Glaminatrix. At that time I didn't know about Monolith, but right now I would pick things from Monolith, and that's what I did. I purchased these two from Monolith. And so these for me are indie, but for an European customer are luxury. These are the range of prices. Blend Bunny, I decluttered my doll's house. So I purchased the Olden Up and Doll's House last year. And in 2023, I purchased these two. I actually picked a few shades from the dollhouse. You see here that was I removed one column and I switched the shades to that palette, and I decluttered that palette, and these are the original. These shimmers, this is not the original one. These ones are very nice, not my favorite, but once I tried, I have a video where I tried the shimmers on my eyes and they were less bad as I had anticipated. So the shimmers right now are very shiny. They improved a lot compared to the ones in the doll's house, but still some from the doll's house were my favorites. So these two were my favorites in terms of color. What to say about Blend Bunny?